Hi, I'm Deb Tillett. I'm the President and Executive Director of the ETC, Baltimore City's Emerging Technology Centers, Centers for Innovation and Entrepreneurship.
Great. Thank you very much for letting us have you as a guest. And we would like to know more about your organization. What does your organization do for the community?
Well, for the technology community in particular, most of our entrepreneurial endeavors are technology-enabled businesses or business models. And so what we provide is business support services, which cover a wide range of issues for entrepreneurs and startups and people who care to create businesses in the city of Baltimore. Part of that offering is certainly office space if you need it, as well as the business support services. We have an open and kind of awesome co-working area where if you do not need the four hard walls of an office, we provide a place for you to stop and land and get business services. We also run a Lean Startup Accelerator once a year, which is a small seed investment in 13 weeks of very intense programming to help you launch a product in 13 weeks. We have an opportunity to work with us in our Beehive, which again is a co-working space, but there are no business support services. Tends to be possibly freelancers or people who are starting out, just trying to figure out if they'd like to start a company. So very general, that's very general what we provide to the entrepreneurial tech community, but it's really helping the entrepreneur figure out what they don't know, right? And so, go ahead.
These co-working spaces are becoming very popular nowadays. How is that responding in your business, in your organization?
Well, we're seeing fully a third plus of our organization with companies that care to co-work. It really is very popular. You know, at the turn of the century, and I mean the 21st century, you really were all about that corner office. You really were about having to have a hard line for your computer equipment. You needed a telephone. You needed to be hardwired, as it were. Well, fast forward these 14 years, and Wi-Fi is ubiquitous. Your cell phone's more powerful than your computer was at the turn of the century. And so we find the flexibility and the community that is created by the co-working groups are really awesome. And the fun part is, like, you might be on one side of the building that's east-facing, you know, this week. If you don't like it, you just switch and go to the other side of the building, right? Next week. So it's really extremely flexible. It's casual, but there's a ton of work getting done and some great companies getting started.
As you know, we are Hispanic business newspaper, and we would like to know more about how is the Hispanic community responding to your organization. Are you guys engaging in the Hispanic community as you would like to? Is the response becoming good enough?
We're actually trying. I don't know that we've necessarily done a full court press for the Hispanic community, but I'll tell you, certainly Jorge Castillo is my secret weapon, but we are pretty proud of the fact that now it is an overall statistic, but 46% of our companies are minority women business, right? So there are other minority or women business enterprises. We are located physically on the cusp of one of the largest Hispanic communities in the city of Baltimore. We're just in the Highlands and around Highlandtown and Eastern Avenue. Very vibrant Hispanic community. And my own personal outreach is we're involved with a young woman, Linnea Featherstone,
right.
and her organization, and her specific mission is very much about the Hispanic community and probably older Hispanics, teaching them the technology skills that they need. And while she's not necessarily part of ETC, you know, we certainly have done some outreach, and she's certainly aware of what we do in our programs. And we've also met with the city of Baltimore's leaders in the Hispanic community. So I think that's kind of my answer.
Great. Just one more thing. How about the history of this organization? How long has been in the market and with the community?
Right. ETC was founded in 1999, and the city of Baltimore was very much, I think, ahead of the curve in trying to understand new technology and what technology could do to move the economy forward. And so through the rise and fall of the 2000s and the recession, we've been around. And so for about 16 years, I can't do the math, but it's about 16 years now, ETC has serviced or worked with over 350 companies in the city of Baltimore. And those companies collectively, 86% still remain in business. It's a pretty good percentage when you talk about startups. Collectively, those companies have raised over $1.6 billion in outside capital. And we've seen some very significant exits and really terrific stuff for a lot of our companies. A lot of them remain in the city of Baltimore. So there are great economic impact effects of the kind of work that we do for the city of Baltimore.
Has it always been a majority of women-owned businesses, or it has been rising through the years?
I think it's been rising. I think we've seen in technology minority getting involved, and I throw women in there. I am one. In terms of not very many in the technology business, and so what we have seen, I would say over the last 5 years, is more participation in entrepreneurship in general with women and with minorities, right? It just seems to be, and in technology, we're working harder to be inclusive.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was great talking to you.
Sure. Jorge Castillo, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer in Residence for the ETC.
Does the organization have at all any Hispanics, as part of the, taking advantage of the services provided by this organization, or do you think this is something that will be planned for the next few years?
Yeah, and the first answer is yes. There are absolutely some Hispanics who have been part of the ETC in different capacities in different companies, and of course also when those companies grow, they're hiring people. But this is one of those things that works kind of like economic cluster. One of the things that you're seeing right now in the tech world is kind of the shift of what it used to be before, which was basically an Anglo or a white male starting up a technology business. And that is changing dramatically, as you can see. Our own president here happens to be a woman. We've had other companies that are here that are owned by women as well. And where I'm going with this is that it does take a while for this economic cluster to become more inclusive and attract Latinos. 60, 70 years ago, for an African American to dream that they could be president of the United States would have been something almost impossible, because you didn't see those role models out there. And as things have progressed, now you have a president that is African American, and that creates a whole new different level of energy from the young people. So what we have to do from the Hispanic community is to start showing and highlighting those role models, because there are some people that have that are very successful with their technology companies, whether they have started them or they're part of them, but definitely we need to see more of those role models. So that's one of the things that we can highlight, is to find those companies and start really showing the world that technology is not just for other minorities or your typical white males. It does extend into all minorities, and that's what we're starting to see here.
Many organizations are helping minorities to get programming, literacy and this kind of stuff to join this industry. Would you say that there's a need to inform the Hispanic community into this industry?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, yeah. There's definitely that, and growing up in Peru, when I was growing up, I remember the two professions that kept coming up as everybody talked about it was a doctor or a lawyer. What are you going to be when you grow up, a doctor or a lawyer? There was no, oh, I'm going to be an entrepreneur in technology. I'm going to start a new business in technology that's going to revolutionize the world. And that is starting to change. But like I said earlier, it takes a while. It takes a generation, sometimes more, to have these success stories until they frankly become viral and mainstream, and until you see those leaders in the Hispanic community that are starting tech companies. It's going to be hard for that community to kind of break into it, But once you get one or two leaders that start showing the Hispanic community why it's important to be in technology, I think that's just a natural progression, So I think we'll get there soon. Yep.
Great, great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. Hey,
something that you would like to say about your organization to the community, and maybe something new that is going on or will be going on in the next few years?
Yeah, well, we actually have we have a wait list for companies who want to be part of the ETC right now, and that's the first time that's happened in its 15-year history. So as you can see, we're definitely making an impact in the community and assisting these individuals to develop businesses. So I think that eventually, just based on demand, this organization is probably going to have to expand and grow, which is fantastic. As you know, technology is really driving pretty much every single process in all industries. Marketing used to be completely different from what it is now. Now marketing is technology driven. You can't market effectively if you don't understand the technology. And so the message is for people who are studying or thinking of where they're going to go in their lives. If you don't have that technology background, or at least that knowledge of technology at the basic level, it's going to be very difficult for you to get ahead and get a good job. Frankly, you see what happened with the recession. Those jobs are gone, and they're gone forever. They're not going to come back. Even manufacturing right now requires a understanding of what technology is, because even those machines that make the machines that make everything are highly technical and highly automated. So you have to know about analytics, you have to know about processes, you have to know about Six Sigma and quality testing. So you can start going down that funnel, and it really does start with technology. And I see that as a driving force in Baltimore and in this Mid-Atlantic region. It's going to be technology. And if it's not technology here, it's going to go somewhere else. But we want to keep it here in Baltimore and in Maryland, definitely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're very welcome.